Just queuing up here for an arena game. Just waiting on one more person to join, which hopefully will go pretty quickly, but we'll see. Whoa, what was that? Non-intention. Yeah, I've been doing a little can't stop again since yesterday, and otherwise I'm just mostly playing arena for the fun of it. But let's peek in at the leaderboards at least to see where people are at. Nerd Cube's way up there still. Deep Finesse is clawed back, which is cool, but 1844 is really up there. That's hard to hit. I don't know this player. I've not recognized their name before, so that's interesting that they're really up there. But rest of the leaderboard's not too surprising, although Gray kind of popping up there. That's really cool. Good for him. Largely the names you'd expect. But who is this guy? Played a lot of Terra Mystica. Started playing about a year ago. Only got particularly good recently. So just kind of finally figured out the game, I guess. It's interesting though. Have I actually played them? I have not played them, it would appear. Interesting. This joke account has continued. Alright. So, yeah, I don't know. Other stuff coming up is, again, yeah, we have Fire 2 open on Saturday. Nerd Cube and I will be announcing that, so that'll be a fun game to spectate and talk about. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't have any big streaming ideas really beyond just running some all-player commentaries. I should maybe come up with some ideas, but if anybody else ever has ideas, let me know. I can't spell that. Well, good old boring start here. I've just waited for the game to kick off. This is where I should stop launching my stream before the game starts. But I still do it because I'm a fool. Oh, but there we go. You just got to complain about it. Oh, or you just pull Claybo into the game. Perfect. Excellent. Haven't got to play Claybo in a while, so this is good. We love the pregame. Do you really? Where I just sit here and blab on about largely nothing? If you love the pregame, then intrigue. Anyhow, we have a table with Claybo. Claybo's really up there, so that's exciting. And the other players are new and not particularly good, and also pretty inexperienced, not particularly good. So this is largely a game of Claybo versus I, but I don't really care. Spawned a level 5 Claybo. We have spawned a Claybo. Yeah, in rank 5, yeah. He's good. He's can be definitely creative and interesting, so it'll be fun to play with him. I, again, am largely kind of just going for having fun right now and just playing games and not worrying about it too much. So honestly, if I was taking bets, I would bet on Claybo to win this game. But, you know, we'll see. It's not like I can't put together strong games either, but I'm not going to be too worried about it. Which is more of a concern? Clay, who is good, or the low-ranking players that are good at triple hard digger hexes? I mean, yeah, that's always kind of an interesting thing too, right? Like the lower rated players can do some really random stuff that you're not going to expect, which could be dangerous, but who knows? The betting is starting off at me -5. I really don't know if that's good bets. Again, I would bet on Clabo personally. Clabo's been playing very sharp this arena season, and he's been playing a lot. And I've not been necessarily playing the sharpest, and/or I'm not that focused on winning. In fact, I didn't really look at the setup yet. Even I should have done that, by the way. We have temples into dwellings, mid-game trading posts, towns, big buildings. This looks like a pretty good mermaids or witches type game plan. You open with your temple, get a bunch of dwellings, go for mid-game stuff. The cult rewards look great for mermaids, I guess, so let's just put them in and be super boring and throw in the best faction on this map. You smell an edgy game. We need a betting bot in here. I've got you down for one Clabo bet. Yes, you do, Nerdcube. So I know that gosh, who's the popular through the ages streamer? DJ Parson or whatever. He has like some really interesting betting things on his stream, but I don't know how they work. Lumen's been doing some of the automatic Twitch betting like things, but the problem with the Twitch betting is you can just like do one. You can only like set up two-way options. So it would be like it's more interesting to be able to do four-way stuff for these type of four-player games, but how to do that, I don't know. I always say that I'm going to look into doing more with the whole Twitch streaming and actually, put some emotes on this channel so that we can have such things as, I don't know, Coin Town emotes or whatever. And I obviously haven't done that either because I don't really care about that part of Twitch, to be honest, and that I'm lazy and I don't do it. But a lot of people do enjoy it, and it is kind of fun. But I just don't put the effort into that side of things. So I should do that. But bidding, I would actually be pretty intrigued in, so I should try to figure that out. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, hey, McStebbs apparently watches the streams. Cool. Hey, engineers do go in. Clabo is your friend, everybody. So pretty clearly mermaids are the best here. I think. I mean, again, I'm not actually thinking about this too hard, but colorless mermaids on this map that are second seat seem pretty clearly to be the best. So, yeah, I just see a hard way for that not to be true. But yeah, back to some of the Twitch stuff. I should figure out a little more how to actually do things on Twitch. I have some time this weekend. I really should just actually commit to putting aside an hour and mucking about with some Twitch settings and actually giving subscriber emotes and all the other fun, weird stuff and seeing what I can do with betting. But yeah, with round 2 and 3 water rewards, late towns, yeah, might as well bid mermaids to 20. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're right. I don't usually speed things up, but that's because I usually care too much. Who's the 30 faction here? I don't know. I've never like fully convinced about playing halflings when there's not like particular reasons for it. And so like here, what are halflings gonna do this game? I think it's really hard to get a lot of dwellings out early. So like I'm not convinced that halflings aren't supposed to be the 30 faction. But they already got picked. Engineers still seem pretty good. Chaos Magicians can only start in one spot, so they're not going to annoy you too much. But I mean, the thing is, like, Engineers kind of would like, this range of stuff. And so, like, if Chaos decides to start at one of these red hexes, it is still annoying for Engineers. But like Chaos starting here with like engineers and mermaids or something and like starting in this area seems conceivable. I don't know. We got Clabo. We do have Clabo. Halflings can't be that bad with no neighbors. Chaos have all the cults. Cultists just look better than halflings most of the time and definitely here. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the issue. And part of my issue with halflings is it's just hard to get a lot of dwellings early on this map. And then, like, for this track, I don't really want to be building trading posts as halflings usually because I prefer to get out a bunch of workers and really have a worker economy go to be able to dig. And there's no cult rewards for workers, but there are cult rewards for spades. And so I just don't know what the benefits are for being halflings. Although, wait, who bid on halflings? I did not pay attention. Who jumped over to halflings again? Or did he just start at 28 on halflings? No, he started at 30. Why am I not seeing? Oh, there it is. Claybo went to halflings. Okay, very interesting. Claybo did it. All right. Mermaids are arguably worse than green. You hate NGs in a game with mermaids and CMs. Yeah, engineers are going to lose some hex. I do agree that mermaids actually kind of annoy engineers worse because engineers kind of like to double dig these blues. And so having to fight for them is annoying. Claybo is on team halflings. Intrigue. I have not played this map enough. I really kind of hope Claybo does get halflings because I'm really curious about what he's seeing because I see it as pretty unexciting. I guess you get engineers down here for a neighbor, so you have okay-ish leech here, and I guess you're just hoping that you're starting double dig. I don't even really pay attention to pastels. I should. Admittedly, there is kind of a fight for double dig. But engineers are probably starting worker power and then priest and then temp ship, and that means mermaids are getting double dig. I don't know. I'll go another on mermaids. It's easy. I don't have to think, and I kind of am all for just having fun. I have fun with mermaids, even though they're just stupidly good. They fit what I like to do, and yeah, I'm just here for fun right now. But we'll see. You've noticed that people are very track picky for halflings. If there are no round 4 digs, people are mad about them. You find halflings consistently get underbid. I mean, I don't think halflings are always the 30 faction, and the halflings don't need digging in order to have a good track. It's just, I don't know if the timing on a lot of these events make a ton of sense for halflings. I don't really know if you want to build mid-game trading posts as halflings, but I guess my problem is, like, if halflings were able to open a temple and a couple dwellings and then build a bunch more dwellings, then these trading posts are totally timed fine. But I'm really having a hard time seeing how halflings have more than like 3 or 4 dwellings after round 2. I just don't see how there's enough spades early for them to achieve such things. And if there's not spades, the only other option, I guess, is to go for like shipping halflings, but I don't know. It's weird. Anyhow, mermaids are down to 12. I could consider going to other things. The thing is just like mermaids are really good still, right? Like that's part of the problem. Engineers are probably the 30 factions. I could take chaos. But chaos are also going to have issues with engineers like kind of hemming in their preferred hexes. Claybo does go for engineers, so they are not the 30 faction. Chaos is. I'll just go one more tick on mermaids. They're easy. They're good. Again, if I lose by a couple points because I overbid mermaids, but I at least have a smooth game, fine. I really don't care right now. Could this be a tall, edgy setup? It's unclear if you should punt network, but you can get a... It could maybe be a tall, edgy's game. 2 ship plus 2 dig brown can get 7 dwelling on the board on this map. Not that I'm seeing. Now that I'm selling it, it's I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I mean, if you could get 2 ship and 2 digs within the first couple rounds, and maybe you can. I'm not sure halflings are getting a ton of leech either. But I don't know. The other interesting thing is if halflings even start here, or if chaos tries to go for center stuff. I'm not really sure what to expect. The fact that Mermaids wants to beat engineers to this green also doesn't seem good, though. Because if I was going to do tall engineers, it's usually trying to like set up bridges here and here. Although you could maybe start here and like here, I guess, and try to set up the bridges through here. And go for low network. But the problem is you'd really like to open double temple then as engineers. So I think you kind of got to start here. So you get bridges through here, and then the last bridge, who knows, but I'll go one more on the easy mermaid's life, and then I'll talk myself into trying some engineer stuff. Part of the problem with tall engineers here is that I would really like there to be a ship scoring and a big building scoring if I was truly doing like tall engineers stuff. The fact that there's dwelling scoring does still make me want to expand a bit as engineers, but I don't know. Seems kind of unlikely for halflings to get those types of resources. Lack of big buildings is probably death for tall NGs. I don't think, yeah, I mean, I think it's not a great game for tall NGs. I think the cult rewards aren't particularly great either. I think tall engineers really does like that kind of mid, like around 4 big building when you want to build a stronghold. Those cult workers are actually pretty useful too. Because engineers, when you go tall engineers, you don't really need your priest for shipping advances. So you get to send your priest to cults, and if you can turn them into workers through cult rewards, that synergizes pretty well off of your strongholds. Now you have a bunch of workers to build some bridges the next round, or just continue to fuel whatever you're doing after you've built up. Here, there's just a ton of spades, so I think you have to play pretty expansion-y, but probably time to pick Chaos. I actually think it's probably still right to bid Engineers a couple points. I think Chaos are gonna have issues with Engineers swarming around. Although I've said that before, that I've still seen Chaos have particularly strong games, but mid-game trading post, like part of the other problem for Chaos here is that the track's not great, because building trading posts in these rounds is usually not quite when Chaos is ready to do it. They often like late trading posts. Chaos really likes dwelling events during these rounds. Towns is not really a thing Chaos wants either. Sometimes they go for an early town to get a 2-key town, but it's going to be hard for Chaos to even get 2 towns in this round. So, and then the only path, like Chaos also really likes ship scoring, and there's none of that. And there's no big building scoring, which they also like. So I think Chaos does have a lot of issues here. Is there a line where Engineers does start E5 and gets a Sanctuary down? Or is that a mess and it's G8, H5? I think I'd rather start here as Engineers, just because if Chaos starts here, I don't want to lose this Hex as Engineers. So I think I want to start here, and then it still feels like it's right to start here as Engineers. The thing is, too, in general, the way I play Mermaids, like, I'm obviously already just mentally locked into, like, starting here and here, and I'm just not really going to fight for this Hex. So Engineers probably gets to double dig this guy, even if Chaos starts here. I guess starting here and here maybe means Engineers will have some trickiness connecting, so maybe you do ignore network, but I don't know. Wonder if Claybo and Co. are thinking halflings go double temple. So if halflings are trying to go double temple, there's some really interesting fight for the 2 workers, right? Because I think I would assume that Chaos are gonna open with a Sanctuary, right? I would like my assumption is Chaos takes the priest, upgrades, takes the workers to hit a Sanctuary. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm bidding Engineers a little bit here. Mermaids are still probably fine at this price, to be honest, because it still looks like a really good Mermaids game, but I don't know. If Engineers have 19 points, and we've increasingly been seeing some fun Engineer stuff on this map, I don't know. I'm sure they would have some chances, but this seems fine. But yeah, double temple halflings is a little tricky because you need to take the workers power action. So, I don't think I want to play Chaos yet for all the reasons I listed. So I think I'm back on bidding Mermaids 1, and then I'll probably go back to bidding Engineers 1 or 2 more, and then I might take Chaos. Or maybe I'm supposed to play halflings and figure out how to play them on this map. But I just am unconvinced about the leech, the connection. Well, I guess as halflings, maybe you do start here. Maybe you play like here and here as halflings. Mermaids will presumably beat you to this hex, but you still can get this stretch of stuff as halflings. Somewhere through all of here. I don't know. I think halflings you start south and trade power with energies. I mean, I think halflings you definitely are going to upgrade here. It's just where does your other one go and how does it impact your network? But I don't know. You think there's some cool stuff to explore with halflings on this map. You're just not convinced by this setup. Yeah, I think you're right, NerdCube. I think there's interesting things for halflings as well. Again, I don't know about this track or anything though, but oh well, I don't have to worry about it. I'm just gonna play an easy game, probably lose by a little for overbidding, but that's okay. Starting center and 2-ship halflings is pretty strong. Yeah, I mean you're gonna get a lot of dwellings, and then hopefully you have neighbors from there in order to upgrade to trading posts. I look forward to seeing how halflings do it. I'm all in. As mermaids, I'm not overthinking this. I'm just starting here and here, right? I mean, the only other thought is to start here, and I just always hate that. I don't think it's ever right. How are these past tiles breaking down? I'm assuming it's going to go worker, power, priest. I take temp ship, and then halflings take coins, is my guess. Clabo starts where I expected. Makes sense. I mean, I honestly still kind of think Clabo is likely to win this game. He's very good, and engineers probably should have been bid a bit more than they were. But we'll see. It depends a little bit, too, on how aggressive Chaos Magicians are and how much they get in their way, but we'll see. I have Mermaids, so it's fine. I agree. I'm just going to play my game and enjoy. You could see red taking temp ship. It's possible that red takes temp ship. That would be kind of sad because I would like double dig in round 1, but I'll survive either way. I am going to be boring and just go for Earth 1, I would think. Although, I would go for double dig. I'm going for double dig or Earth 1. I'm getting one of those two, basically, is where I'm at. We need new odds after starting placements. Thus far, pretty much everything's as I expected. I wasn't sure halflings would go here. The real question is, like, does Chaos go here or here? I think are the main two choices. I don't actually think you start here. Or you could start here, I guess, because you maybe could go for the center stuff. But if you start here, this feels a little too friendly to engineers, I think. And I think it means Chaos won't get enough reds throughout the rest of the game. And you're not actually going to get that much leech for starting center. Normally what's so attractive about the center is that you have a bunch of green and black factions and stuff feeding you a ton of leech. But here it's going to be pretty slow. But they go for it. Well, that sucks. Yeah, so let's readjust the odds to Team Clabo by a lot. The fact that Clabo is just going to get this whole stretch of stuff is pretty... Honestly, it feels pretty winning. There's almost no way red takes temp ship, though, so... I guess one thing I can try to do is at least take double dig and take this hex and this. Well, I got to take this hex, right? So I guess I take this hex and this hex, and I build through here. Clabo takes the priest. Interesting. And so then worker power goes to chaos, and then I do take temp ship. I might not even need to take temp ship in order to get double dig, but. I do need to take temp ship. I can't let halflings take temp ship and beat me to this hex. I think that's too annoying. Where should Chaos have started? There's like no way. Chaos should have been here or here. I'm not sure which, but you're just giving up way too many red hexes, especially with halflings starting here. Like, it's pretty obvious to me already that Chaos are going to build these hexes and get to here. And then where are they building the rest of the game? Like, Chaos is doomed for future expansion. They're going to build this stuff, and then they're going to find that all the other hexes they care about are going to be stolen by engineers. Like, Chaos could have just started here and had the same sanctuary town with better leech and probably a better chance to maybe beat engineers to some other hexes. I mean, Chaos maybe could have gone through here or something as a weird, funky sanctuary town off of 3 digs. This just isn't actually that good at this matchup because they're not going to get that much leech. I'm not going to be building these hexes very early at all. We will exchange power in the center, so like he'll get a bit, but he would get even more power if he just started here, I bet. So I think this was just a pretty sizable mistake. I don't think it's very good, but it's okay. That happens. Are we playing for second now? I mean, I kind of have repeatedly been saying I thought I was going to be second anyhow, but if I choose to upgrade here, there is a chance that halflings would get fed the leech they need in order to take double dig from me, and I don't want that. So I think the play is still to take this hex and this hex. This hex doesn't feel like it's under any threat, so... And because I have temp ship, I should really just take this hex while I can. I'm guessing I'm going to get Earth 1 blocked at this point, so I'm going to go Fire 1, but that's okay. If I can take F3 and G4, NGs are not in a great spot. NGs are still in a fine spot. These guys have really rushed their upgrades, so building this dwelling to get extra leech is unfortunately not going to get me much. So I'm pretty sure I just get here in order to leverage more. I think I just go here and try to leverage more stuff from Chaos Magicians. Plus, this forces Chaos and Engineers to not take power actions if they want Earth 1. Is there an argument for taking Water 1 instead of Fire 1? The TP rounds are early. It's possibly right to take Water 1. I will have to think about it. Normally I would take Fire 1, but you're onto an idea that I could just go Water 1 this game. Especially with the water cult track rewards, having that one extra step on water probably doesn't matter, but it could. We do see Earth 1 from Chaos, very expected. There's also Water 2. There is Water 2. Water 2 is almost certainly too fancy, but it is a fun idea. It does look like everybody's rushing Earth 1 here. I'm assuming that's what Claybo's about to take. And then I'm pretty sure Claybo's going to go Earth 2 for a temple over here. Everything looks pretty solid. I would expect halflings to single dig here, but not sure. Halflings took the single worker. I missed that. Taking a single worker instead of taking coins is just pretty wrong, but there has been some success lately with convincing me of things. I am a little bit into experimental moods, don't get me wrong. I'm very much for exploring, but I don't think Water 2 can possibly be correct. It's Fire 1 or it's Water 1. Water 1 is tempting because it will be pretty good points. I would like to build a bunch of trading posts during those middle game rounds. I'm going to have neighbors for at least 2 trading posts already, which is pretty clear. I'm hoping halflings are trying to ship. I can also get trading posts through here pretty easily if I actually get to dig these hexes soon. There's really no point in building this yet. I may as well just take this hex and feed my opponent's leech. I don't love it, but I want this hex. Not taking this is only a slight concern. If somehow there's no world where halflings have temp ship in front of me. If halflings decide to advance ship, then I will regret not building this, though. Yeah, I don't need to build this yet either, I guess. So I'll upgrade. Maybe I do just take water 1. I'm going to probably build trading posts early. There's a decent amount of coins in the game, so I don't really need fire 1. I don't need to go for mega ship advances this game either. Water 3 then, done. Ha ha ha, yeah, water 3. That would be something, but yeah. Certainly nothing's gone wrong with the opening. It's just, again, I paid a lot to play Mermaids, and I think engineers are going to wind up getting a little more combination of leech and leeway this game than I would have liked. But we'll see. Claybo gets the first priest to water, which is also unfortunate. Makes a lot of sense. I definitely am sending a priest to water next round. I was part of why I did go water 1 is because I was hoping that there might have been a world where I was going to get 2 priests to water next round and get up to step 8, but that's all right. That is in many ways unnecessarily greedy. I guess there is still a world where I get 2 priests to water and I have the cult coins, but I'm not totally sure what the rest of my opponents are doing this round. Chaos are clearly going to go Sanctuary, so they have 1 move left. I think Engineers are going to wind up passing, or not Engineers. I think Halflings wind up passing in front of me. I think Engineers are always going to build a temple for Earth 2 still. So I think that does mean I get to at least pass for one of the coins tiles, which is really good because that's what I want. Halflings do just pass after taking the priest, but they don't invest it anywhere. That feels wrong, especially because now they can't thread and double dig. I don't really like what Halflings is doing. Starting with 1 extra worker that they're not using here either is just not good. But anyhow, it means there's really no pressure on this hex, so I will just take this one, which I guess maybe is going to help Halflings get to where they want to double dig, but I would rather they double dig than... Like, I would really rather Halflings are able to double dig than Engineers. So we'll see. Do I remember what I did in my first Terra Mystica game? Absolutely, I do. That priest immediately pays 2 coins too. Yeah, correct. Like, Halflings almost certainly should have thrown that priest somewhere. The only reason I can think that they're saving it is because they're one of these Halflings players that is gonna... honestly, I'm guessing because they're not a very good player, and by that I mean the rating suggests they're not very good, and broadly, I don't think they have a lot of experience. The answer is beginning Halflings players tend to rush the advanced digs. So my new guess is that he is just aiming to advance his digs already in round 2. He's going to try to double advance digs and start putting out dwellings, which isn't actually going to be that bad. It's just going to be really slow on the workers. But so, I mean, it's not going to be good, but... it does mean that my dreams of having Halflings like ship over to me so that I can actually build more trading posts in rounds 3 and 4 are probably a little dead, but that's okay. I would assume Chaos just takes Earth 2 and Air 2, but they might be debating taking Water 1 as well. We'll see. You rushed 3-step favors to get cult bonuses in your first TM game. Nice. My first TM game wasn't like a total disaster, but I played Alchemists, and I basically just built the stronghold, and I used the coin conversion a decent bit, and then towards the end of the game, I built up crazy... Like, I used the coin conversion just a little bit early, and then toward the end of the game, I built up and, like, produced a ton of coins and tried to hoard a ton of coins to score a bunch of VP, because, you know, that's what their ability seemed like. Obviously, once you get better at Terra Mystica, you figure out that their real ability is to trade a victory point for a coin that's very strong. Converting 2 coins into a victory point turns out to not be very efficient at all. But when you're first learning, you don't know these things, and it looks like an ability that makes victory points seem better. Wow, Chaos goes for Water 1, Water 2. It's fun, but it's not good. And Klebo passes for the coins. Oof. Stabs me in the heart. He doesn't go double temple. Wow. Wow. I'm going to reiterate. Wow. I would never have predicted that. That seems so wrong. It's a 4-point temple. Earth 2 is so good for engineers. But Klebo's, I'm not going to lie, Klebo's like a very strong player, obviously, but he has very different instincts than I do a lot of times. And it's very interesting to see. I would have never expected that. That's a pretty big bummer. I really wanted coins, right? Like, I need some coins, but maybe I get a little power and I can take a coin power action. I'm going to build 2 dwellings. So, I mean, this is going to be 5 points and 3 coins. So, I mean, it's still, that maybe that's better than taking cult coins anyhow, but still, wow. I can't believe he didn't build a temple there, but Klebo is going Water 1 with his second temple. I mean, at this point, I guess that is maybe that is the right play. Maybe he really wants Water 1 this game, and he knows that there's a lot of pressure on it now that both Chaos and I already committed to it. Which, for the record, I guess I am glad I took Water 1, because with Chaos Magicians committing to Water 1 also, like, there is an obnoxious amount of pressure on it already, but he wants to secure Act 6, you think. So, I don't know. He didn't have to pass in order to do that, though. That's what was so weird to me. Like, he doesn't need to pass there. He can still build his temple and just... if Klebo just built his tempo, he was still going to get double dig this round. Like, he could have gone Earth 2 into double dig. There was nothing was going to stop that. We do see Halflings just advance dig, as I called, so he is one of those sorts of players. Klebo does take double dig, very expected, taking the hexes you would expect. The reds are absolutely disappearing from Chaos Magician's world, as I figured they would. This is why I think Chaos starting center is just not going to work. I eventually will give him some more leech, but it's just not a rush of mine. The game plan this round's pretty simple. It's send a priest to water and take these hexes. I guess I should send a priest to water first, because if the coins come back to me, that's probably what I want to take. Although I do want to be able to dig again too, so I really could use more power than I'm going to get is what it comes down to, but I need a coins action bad enough. The extra power tempo here seems good. Plus, there's actually a lot of people that might want to be sending priests to water, so I should get in there while I can. Halflings are already passed, but Halflings didn't have enough power, so they just kicked the player in my game you were doing so well in. Hey, Eels, that's unfortunate here. I'm sorry. Like, it's happened before in my games too, and it sucks, but players are supposed to play within the time limits they have, but yeah, it's never fun when you're gonna lose stuff. Anyhow, how's this game going? This game's going reasonably well, but the problem is I think engineers have just been handed a little too much territory. I think Chaos starting where they did is going to lead to engineers just getting too many hexes long term, but we'll see. I could be wrong. I'm obviously not always right. To be fair, one wacky thing that I haven't been considering is actually Chaos Magicians are maybe angling to double dig this and then dig this. Is a possible line they could attempt. Halflings advanced dug again, and they have they don't have enough workers. They're probably gonna burn for workers in a sec. I can take coins here. It feels pretty good. The other option is to try to save more power for another double dig shortly, but probably just coins. I'll have quite a few workers. This will allow me to build some trading posts soon enough, so Deep finesse kicked or was kicked? Was kicked, having connection issues. Oof, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's extra unfortunate for deep finesse too, because he was in second place at up like he was actually kind of catching up to Nerdcube, and I'm sure that getting kicked from a game and losing it to a bunch of good but not great players is gonna really probably kill his elo, But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. It's never fun to like lose games you think you're doing well in. So, Claybo takes a step on water as expected. The halflings did take the workers. What has Chaos Magician's been up to this whole round? Sending 2 priests to water, so he is super up the water track. I don't actually know how much that's getting him, but I mean, I guess it's gonna like the water 2 coupled with all these early priests is gonna mean Chaos Magicians is gonna have quite a strong cult game. So if you play cults really well and you just kind of live off of a couple hexes, maybe it's okay. But I'm not even sure Earth 1. You get so many favors. I guess Earth 1's still right, but not taking Earth 2 feels pretty wrong here too. If you're not gonna get out many dwellings, but I guess he still can single dig here. Who knows? I'm not sure. I'm not sure Chaos is making the right calls thus far this game, but oh well. Claybo skipping the temple last round just seems so wrong to me still. I feel like he could be in basically the same position, but maybe he just read incorrectly that he needed to pass in order to secure the double dig, but he just didn't. I guess he really wanted the coins and the cult step so that he didn't have to send priest to water. I'm not totally sure why Claybo passed still, but oh well. The game should be called Can't Take a Breather. Nice. You hit elite this morning. Nice. Well done. Anyhow, this game continues to be pretty good here. I certainly can't be too sad about the spot I'm in. It's just I paid a lot of points to be in this spot. Engineers, he pays to advance ships, so that's part of his plan. He's going to build another dwelling. Does seem pretty good. It's looking like I'm going to wind up passing for this trading post tile and just play a pretty greedy points game. I can easily build 2 trading posts next round, and maybe I wind up building a 3rd next round, and just hitting the pass tiles early and I start making a lot of points and have a pretty good economy. We'll see. One town this game I would like to be through this stretch of things with a bridge, and then another town will be Sanctuary Town somewhere through here. Or even like this town is still actual a possibility, although it's very likely engineers beat me to this. And then another town somewhere through here is, usually in the cards. So getting 3 towns in a pretty good network is always, a nice position to go. I still do like what Claybo's up to with Sanctuary Town here, another town here, just because Chaos wasn't defending these reds. Engineers likely can get to this hex in time too, and this hex is pretty critical for Claybo now because it allows him to eventually 3-ship onto the rest of the grays. So I just think Engineer's game is still going to be quite good here in terms of network and other aspirations. I do need to pay a little attention to this hex coming up. Claybo with 1 shipping might be trying to get here at some point. So I do have enough that I can hard dig next round, I think. I have 2 workers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want to build 2 trading posts, but that does allow me to hard dig and build a dwelling if I want to. So let's see. Halflings passes. He's probably... Oh, he takes temp ship. That's nice. Claybo passes again, not building the dwelling, going for 6 coins. He's passing very aggressively for coins. That extra dwelling would have got him another worker and was an extra 2 points. So I really don't know what Claybo's up to. He's doing some really interesting passes this game. But I just don't think 4 coins and a cult step can possibly be worth just going for. This is a worker, a coin, and 4 points. That feels better than this, so I guess I go for it. I mean, I don't know. Things still seem pretty good over here. I mean, all my opponents are quite ahead on direct points still, so there's that, but might need to secure D9 now that NGs have advanced ship. That's what I said without reading the chat. Yep. Will I connect via the north or dig that brown? I would plan to connect via the north usually, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Clabo doesn't have power income, which is awesome. He's not getting 7 coins or 2 digs. Yeah, the fact that Clabo hasn't built a second temple yet. I mean, again, I think Clabo could have just opened Earth 2 and been... Like, if he built Temple Earth 2, he easily could have still double dug and built 2 dwellings. The difference is he would have been on some different pass tiles, and he wouldn't have 1 shipping currently. But I really don't quite understand Clabo's game, because it feels like he'd be in a better position if he did just build that second temple in round 1, but... regardless, I will build here because I'm expecting a bunch of leech off of Clabo's behalf, and I want to build at least 2 trading posts this round. And there's still actually no pressure on this hex. There's a little pressure on this guy because halflings could decide that they want this, but I don't think that's too likely. Halflings have shipping. They pretty clearly are going to come here. So there is a chance actually halflings will take this hex. So maybe I will get my dream of building 3 trading posts this round. Although that means I might not secure this hex. But regardless, this feels correct. Halflings might take D4 this round, so I could get out the 3rd trading post. And with engineers having no power, they won't dig D9. Why would halflings take that? Chaos might. I feel like halflings want to get on this hex so that they can one ship here and here potentially, but I don't know. I don't know what halflings are doing because they're honestly not doing particularly well is really what's happening. So oh hey, there's still open priest spots, huh? I should have paid attention to those. Clabo sent priest to earth, which is very reasonable. I should probably just throw a priest to fire. I have a lot of priests and they don't really have a lot of use this game. So taking 3 steps while chaos and others aren't taking them does seem very reasonable. I don't know why I wasn't paying attention to that. That's sloppy of me, but I still get a 3 spot, and I wasn't going to get 2 of them, I guess, so. Putting out 3 trading posts this round seems unnecessary, given that it's another TP round next round, but I have the trading post pass tile, and leveraging that much early coin. The other thing is, like, the 3rd trading post is actually pretty good because it produces that extra power. And if I was producing 6 coins for power, that's actually pretty useful and a lot of different, like, it's a little aggressive getting out the extra trading post, but it's a lot of points because of the pass tile too. So like I would do it if I can. It would mean my worker economy is a little iffy for 1 round, but I also get a spade on the pass here too, remember? So like, I don't know, I could build quite a few dwellings next round anyhow. And getting a bunch of trading posts down and leveraging the pass points while I can feels pretty good. Chaos advances ship here. I'm guessing Chaos is trying to get to this hex before Halflings denies it to them. Then again, Chaos maybe is just trying to get here. Who really knows? Chaos really doesn't have many resources. I mean, Chaos Magicians just haven't got a lot of leech this game, which, again, was pretty known or expected because he just started in the wrong spot, is still my argument. But, well, and the other problem for Chaos is that he went very not economy, right? He skipped both Earth 2 and Air 2, which are great economic favors, and he went for basically VP options. Water 2 is only slightly economy. It's pretty VP focused, honestly. And then water one is very much a VP favor, and it doesn't. Again, this is like the classic thing I say on this stream all the time, right? Like Terra Mystica is a game of figuring out economy and scoring. If you have better economy, you get to build more stuff, which lets you score, or you can take like scoring options and figure out how you're going to build it. He went too heavy into the scoring answer and isn't going to have a good enough economy to actually really leverage them well enough. To the point where he probably shouldn't have taken water one, but oh well, it's good fun. Anyhow, chat, blah 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 do. What Kleba wants to do this round is temple for water one, build a dwelling, another TP, but he's short a worker. He's feeling no earth two. He has a worker and a robe. Let's hope Chaos doesn't hit your link by taking C4 with their cult digs. Yeah, that's true. Chaos could take this hex, but I still can link here then if need be off of a double dig. So like if I wind up just connecting through here, I'll survive. I am definitely being a little risky about not securing some hexes, but hey, whatever, what's new? Halflings do decide to double dig this from Chaos, so Chaos is very much in a bind for long-term expansion. Chaos should take this hex is really what their answer should be, right? I mean, this guy doesn't do Chaos much, but this is actually pretty useful for Chaos Magicians. This at least gives them some outside shot of hitting some territory they're not going to see otherwise. But yeah, the cult digs coming from Chaos are going to be pretty big and interesting, but we'll see. This is giving my buddy engineers some more power they might do things with, but we'll find out. I don't think I'm getting neighbors, obviously. So it's looking like I do just go 2 trading posts this round and not, get too greedy, which is fine. I can just hard dig and build 2 dwellings here, which feels a pretty good way to play out the rest of this round. But we'll see. Poor Chaos now that Halflings took the red. Yeah, Halflings taking that red was definitely a bit of a sadness, but I mean, I'm just going to loop back to if we watch this VOD, I'm pretty confident as soon as he started here, I literally said that it's risky because you might lose this. Halflings are starting here. It's fairly likely, I think, that Halflings are going to try to carve this out on you. So I think starting here is really, again, just a big mistake that's just going to constantly come back to haunt Chaos a bit. But Chaos is going to just dominate cults here. He Water 2 coupled with all these priests. He is going to get a lot of cult spades. So he's going to wind up expanding more than you think still, just because he has so many digs. But it's going to be a little frightening where he decides to use them. If Chaos does wind up annoying me, I'm honestly going to just be like, well, I'll shrug my shoulders and be like, fine. I mean, if Chaos Magicians winds up impacting Mermaids game more than he impacts Engineers, well, then whatever, he decided who won the game and that happens, and I just shrug my shoulders and have to accept that that's how it is and be like, well, next time don't bid Mermaids so low if you're going to, basically king make the whole game, but we'll see. I mean, I'm just complaining about things that haven't happened yet, so. F4 might be better connection than C4. I pointed that out, yeah. I don't know, I said that, but Chaos should almost certainly take this hex. This isn't F4, or is it F4? I don't know. This is why I should turn on hex names, but I really hate looking at them, so. What pass tile do I want now? Dwelling points and 3 coins? Yeah, I would like that, but I'm not passing for a little while here, so. Saves a lot of resource when no need upgrade shipping. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about me. I might just prefer this in terms of going for low shipping, whereas this is going to require some more shipping throughout the game. Yeah, we'll see. If I build a lot of trading posts early, I might wind up wanting to ship anyhow. Although, I guess what I really want to do is just take Air 1 fairly early then, right? Taking Air 1 after building a bunch of trading posts is always pretty sweet too, so we'll see. We'll see where I'm at. I was hoping that Engineers would build a few more trading posts next to me this round, but the upshot is that these should be trading posts pretty soon, so I should get a nice amount of leech from Klebo. Klebo advances ship again, so Klebo is threatening this hex. I think what Klebo really wants is this guy, but I think I probably am supposed to just hard dig and build this, because losing this hex is pretty bad. So, I mean, I was already talking about this just being my best move anyhow, because I don't have neighbors for more trading posts right now. So, I mean, this feels pretty good still. Halflings not taking the dwelling scoring makes you sad. I mean, everything about the Halflings game should make you pretty sad. But, although, maybe not. I don't know. They still have 50 points and have an okay-ish economy. But, I don't know. I will say, for all my caterwauling about Clabo getting handed too much, his position is really not that good. He is at ship 2 already, but there's no ship scoring in the game, and he can't expand all that well with that shipping either. It's not like it does him a hell of a lot. So he still does have a lot of troubles. Now, I will continue making the argument that if Clabo's early passes, I think, have really hurt him. He chose not to build a 4-point temple when he could have. That would have also given him, you know, a lot of power and a lot of extra workers and stuff by now if he just took Earth 2. And he chose not to build a dwelling that gave him an extra worker and 2 points in order to do these early passes. So I really don't know what that's all about, but oh well. I'm a guy that just always builds up my economy usually. I like having more resources to do things. I could pass for the dwelling scoring tile, but I just don't think Clabo really wants it. And even if he does want it, I just get like a 6 coin tile, which feels fine. So yeah, I'll just greedily build up my economy some more. Once he takes the middle red in ship 3, he could build a lot of dwellings. Yeah, I do agree that ship 3 is eventually going to give engineers a lot. So I get where it's going, and his position is still pretty good. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just questioning if those early passes are actually worth it, because he's given up a lot. And he still doesn't have a second temple down, so he's still not leveraging the strength of this. I don't think he's really leveraging the real strength of engineers. That temple is really good for engineers. It allows you to take another favor. It's just so much economy for a faction that gets so much benefit from economy, because obviously engineers get to build more with less resources. So economy favors are even economic boosts are even stronger for engineers than other factions, because it lets you build more than it normally would. So, but oh well. CM took temp ship, so you have to assume he's cutting through the middle to E2. I mean, I think he wants to get here, but I don't see how Clabo is going to let him. But yes, I agree. I think it's very likely that Chaos is taking this hex. And then they're hoping, I think, to get this one, but they might, you know, take this or something. But all right, Clabo does go for the dwelling scoring, so little sadness because I was hoping to still get that, but it's okay. Just taking 6 coins here is fine. It allows me to do some things. I probably should just send Priest to Fire here so I have a little more power. I really don't have uses for these priests, and so just trying to get some good VP off the Fire track seems reasonable. And I probably am eventually taking Fire 2 also. So this is just good synergy for trying to win a cult track. The only other option is to send some priests to Earth in a hope to get another cult dig late. But I don't think that has as much utility for me. And then I just take 6 coins. I think 2 coins is better than a cult step. So being at 33 points, I'm definitely behind my opponents, but I've been making up the gap pretty nicely, and my economy is pretty clearly the best, so that's nice. But I don't know, still have issues here, but we'll see. Hey, wow, Marushka, thanks for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Playing poker? Did you consider burning to 4 for coins there? You would have thought about it. I did not think about it because I think that's wrong. I'm building a lot of trading posts early. I don't want to do crazy ship. Like, I guess I still need more coins, but like I have 10 coins this round. And I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually think burning there would have been right, Chris. Like, I really didn't think about it at all, but I still have reasons to want some digs this game, right? Like, I'm getting one cult spade here, but I still have other things to do with spades. I probably am cult digging this, assuming chaos doesn't. This allows me to connect, and it gives me another spot for a trading post. If chaos decides they want this hex, then I might just dig this, because this helps set up for a town. Wow, chaos just takes that hex. That like can't be right. I feel like you at least take this. Oh, but making this red. Wait a sec. Is engineers in front of them? No, engineers is not in front of them. That was an interesting cult dig. Claybo turns this to gray, very expected, and then I take this into blue. The only slight risk to making this blue is that halflings could decide they want it. But hopefully they just don't. If halflings hits me, that would suck. But it doesn't seem to be particularly good for them. They don't really feel like they're in a position where they should be trying to hit anybody. But it's always tough trusting players that aren't particularly strong. We just kind of have to accept the risk of halflings doing weird halfling stuff. Yeah, that's what I ultimately settled for. I think I have to settle for the fact that halflings could just kind of screw me here. Please don't be hard on me in the stream. I am noob. Actually, I have. Are you watching the stream right now? I hope I haven't been too harsh. I've just largely been saying that he's newer and hasn't probably been making optimal moves, but that's to be expected. He does not bomb us here either, which is very reasonable. It does look like he's at least going to get out a couple dwellings and trading posts, and he still is at the most points. So that's nice. As for his friend shout out, hello, Nando. Welcome to the stream. Glad to be watching. And he did not know that was a problem. Yeah. Fair enough. Streaming culture is a little weird because, yeah, people sometimes stream snipe and they don't even know that they shouldn't. But the reason you shouldn't is because you get insights into what your opponents are up to, and that's really not fair. Anyhow, I got to take this hex before anything weird happens to it. Plus, I want to build a trading post there. Why not dig E3 and commit to making a town D6, E3, F4 double dig? That way your TP on F5 is part of a town. Hi. You were thinking that as well, Weber. So, this would require one extra dig compared to what my plan is, although it would require less shipping. But my plan is to just dig this and have a town here. And then a town somewhere in here, and then a town through here still. So maybe that's not as good as having a town through here and a town. Well, the problem is if I town here and I town here, how am I ever towning through here? Where are my neighbors for this town? I don't actually think this is an option. Or well, I don't think this is as good of an option as what I'm doing. because I think I get 3 towns this way, whereas I don't know if I do otherwise. The northeast hexes just don't make a town. Northeast. Well, they are, like, I'm making a town here. Like, I'm going for 3 towns still. Only need a stronghold on E7 for the northeastern town. Could. Regardless, it's not what I'm doing, so. I can take double dig here, and I'm very likely to do so, I think. Double digging this hex and this hex feels pretty good. Yeah, double dig feels really good here, right? I dig this, and I able to build a dwelling here and then build trading post, end this round at 4 trading posts, a bunch of dwellings, have my town set up. The only slight awkwardness about my towns is that I need to take Fire 2 in order to town, but I would like to delay my sanctuary. But still feels good. I do need a bridge, which, you know, as you can see, I don't actually have that yet, so that'll be interesting. Star Wars droid noises intensifies. What's wrong with Temple for Fire 2? I could Temple for Fire 2 and then delay Sanctuary for Air 1, but I don't know if that actually makes much sense. Especially depending on how I'm trying to play for network. I will continue to take Leech here. I would like the bridge, and I have some other stuff. And Weber's correct. Just extra stuff to have to build and pay for. Yeah, basically, like, a temple just makes me have to build more stuff, which maybe is not a problem because I do want to be building a lot still, but I don't know. This is okay. It's ultimately what it comes down to. My game's fairly on track. Claybo looks like he has too many coins, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to say, but he just doesn't have enough workers. I don't even know. He might just advance ship here and build more dwellings and skip building trading posts in the trading post rounds, but I'm really not sure. He's really not been able to build up or do a lot yet, but he still has a lot of potential for points down the road. And I will admit, one of my issues is I don't have a ton of potential for VP. I'm going to keep building some very good trading posts, but after that, I don't know. This will be a trading post. I don't really think there's any risk on this hex. I mean, Chaos Magicians could decide they want to mess with it, but I feel like Chaos Magicians have enough of their own problems still. I think Chaos are trying to get a town through here, and so they're trying to set up 2 towns, which I think makes a lot of sense, but we'll see. CM's economy is not very good, yeah. Again, I should... The chat did kind of remind me I should try not to be too harsh, because a lot of these people do watch streams, and it's fair. They know they're not the best, and I don't need to hammer it too bad. We all understand that. They're newer players, and they're figuring things out, and we were all there, and a lot of us didn't have to have experts call our games out on streams. So broadly, CM probably started in the wrong spot. And yeah, CM, I think, still probably made errors by not taking enough economy early. One of CM's strengths is that they get a lot of favors, and that economy really helps fuel them to be able to build enough stuff. Given how halflings haven't been pressing for Water 1, this very much looks like a game where if Chaos had just taken Earth 2, Fire 1, by now they would have collected enough extra resources that it would have just fueled the ability to build another temple for Water 1 and Water 2. In the meantime, Chaos did get a couple water benefits at least, so, you know, they tried, they explored. Turned out to be not correct, but oh well. They also might have expected more early leech from me. I do think they might have expected more early leech from me, but there's just no pressure on these hexes in this matchup, so I don't need to dig here early. I need to dig other stuff to expand, but it is easy to make that mistake, right? So it's easy to come as harsh when streaming because you end up commenting on people's moves as though they're at strong expert play, which isn't the case, of course, with many of the players. Yep, I agree. So it's a tricky thing to balance when you're playing random arena games because many of the opponents are not at the same level, and so it's a weird thing to run on. And I never mean to to be fair, I don't ever want to be like excessively harsh. I don't want anybody to feel bad about being on stream. I largely try to point out mistakes from the point of view of trying to help people understand why things are wrong and how it could be better and how to become a better player. And I think I largely achieve that. But yeah, if anybody ever specifically does have feedback or opinions on how to phrase things better or not hammer stuff as much or whatever, I'm very open to it because I want to help build a community of players that enjoy the game and discussing the game and get better at the game. I don't want people to feel like they're being pushed out of the community or getting laughed at for bad moves or anything like that. That's not the case at all. If we watched if I could just have Weber comment on my first couple games back in the day where I was sitting there as alchemist building all my trading posts and collected 1 million coins and turning them into victory points, we could all have great laughs about that. But Chaos forms a town here. Pretty sure they're just going to take 2 key town, which I think makes tons of sense. If they're not going to be able to do a lot else, they should at least try to win all the cults. So it's a good play. Engineers did decide to. Oh no, he's at ship 2, but that makes sense. So he is skipping he is mostly skipping trading posts. He does have water 1, so he'll get to score them later, and he just needs to build stuff now. The trading post scoring tile is there, but I really should just leverage the full effects of this round here and get this guy out. I mean, this feels pretty nice. I've built most of my buildings by round 4. I'm going to have a good network. I just don't know if I'm actually going to score enough, but that was always the problem with bidding this much. So we'll see. If I could pass onto the trading post tile or the dwelling tile, that would be really good, but it's really uncertain that I'm going to be allowed to do either of those things. I think Chaos is fairly likely to pass for the trading post tile, but we'll see. One thing I can do here is send a priest to fire at least and take a bridge and lock up this bridge that I need. So that part will be nice. Sending another priest to fire and taking fire 2 next round will also let me win the fire cult. So not sad about that idea. It looks like halflings are going to build a dwelling next to me, so I will have the power to bridge, which is good. Coming back into the chat, you're thinking if you were CM, you'd be saying finally with that leech here. Yeah, to be fair, I have not built next to them, and so I'll admit for sure, obviously I've been on stream enough where I complain about people not building next to me and giving me leech, and I probably, if I was CM here, would be feeling a little bit that way. Anyhow, you like the commenting a lot, improving your game, but mainly it's useful to get another point of view. That's good. If we could pass onto a scoring tile, that'd be dope. Yep. Maybe we outlast NGs and take theirs. It is possible. To be fair, it looks like actually Chaos still had a cult step that they wanted to use. So I'm getting either of the pass tiles. I would prefer the trading post one just because this is 8 points and a worker and a coin. Whereas this guy, and the bridge disappeared. That was the only thing I cared about. So this is great. I get onto the trading post pass tile. So good. Anyhow, sorry. I'm definitely passing. I'm just doing my calcs. I produce 6 power. So I could take coins at the start of next round, but as often is the case on this map, I really need a bridge. So I'm going to open next round with the bridge action. So I just convert here. I can produce 6 power. I can also take 1 more freebie if I somehow get it. I pass onto the trading post tile, getting a worker a coin. I produce a ton of coins. All of that looks great. And then I can take my bridge action. I can Sanctuary Fire 2, build a dwelling, get 2 towns. That all feels, really good. I do eventually need to pay for 2 more shipping advances. So it wouldn't be terrible to get coins either, but I really need the bridge, I think. So, yeah, this feels good though. Again, not totally sure I'm scoring enough this game, but we'll see. Hitting the pass tile here is really good. The downside is I'm not sure I'll get to hit a pass tile into round 6, but that's okay. Do we get our 3rd town in the west next round? And if so, how? So the west town is a stronghold town. That's partly how we're going to afford our shipping advance, right? We're going to take fire 2 here, and if we build a stronghold, then we have a town. And then we get it, yeah. So the game plan, I think, is to make 2 towns next round, and then final round build stronghold for a town. Stronghold is pretty good points because it gives me a ship advance I need. It's 5 points. It completes this town without having to do any weird expensive trading posts. So there's a lot of benefit there. 3 ship also gets me access to another hex, and then I still have multiple places where I can dig and get 2 hexes. So I should be fairly competitive for network because I can end this game pretty easily with 3 trading posts left on my board. Because I should be able to build Sanctuary, Stronghold, Trading Post, 4 dwellings without too much effort. Now, getting to 14 network might not be enough to beat Claybo. I'm not totally sure. Because Claybo's network is his economy is starting to get where he needs it to be, but I guess he maybe, well, he still has like a lot of hexes he can reach off of some shipping. Unless we somehow figure we have the ability to block him from this hex. Because that would be pretty big, but we'll see. No reason to block. I'm not convinced of that, but we'll see. Even if we block G3, he could just dig D3. That's true. Yeah, never mind. That's why we don't block. Okay, yeah. I'm getting offered a 2-for-1 here that I don't need because I produce enough power. So it's a little sad to turn that down, but new here, been watching stuff on YouTube. I was commenting on newer players not making optimal moves that feels like you. Any general suggestions on how to make a better game plan? How much calculated forward is necessary? Sometimes it feels like things click well, other times they don't click well. Yeah, so that's a really good question. Thanks for jumping into the stream and watching some stuff. It's fun. Sorry that my YouTube presence is pretty iffy because I basically just upload VODs very sporadically over to YouTube and I don't put much effort in over there, and I probably should because I do know a lot of people are more YouTube than live. But you ask a lot of stuff that I will start rambling on while I think about how my other moves. Got to be the bridge, right? I need bridges. I'm not sure how much bridge pressure there really is, but getting bridge blocked is terrible, whereas I don't really need the coins. Yeah, feels fine. I can form a town. No, not that town. Do not make that town. Do not abort. Ryan is great at rambling, so you've come to the right place. Absolutely, I will ramble. It's okay. I've been watching Fire 2 open. Zorus Lumen's been fun. Thanks for welcoming you. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so how much calculated forward is necessary is the topic I'll tackle first. The answer is not a lot. I don't really... You'll notice, and Weber will attest to this, I don't really calculate much. I kind of just go a little by feel. Like each round I kind of like, okay, I'm going to build these resources, and I have a loose idea of like, oh, I'll be producing a bunch of coins and workers into the next round, and I'm, I need to find spades, or I'm a bit short on this. And like, you kind of get a general flow, but I'm not sitting here meticulously calculating out, oh, all of this costs this much stuff and I have this. Like, no, I don't think that's really necessary. So absolutely calculating forwards not required, but continuing to get a sense for how your economy is currently going and what you need to do to continue like expanding on it is important. It is looking like Claybo's aiming for a town through here, which is pretty cool. It's definitely a good plan. I probably should just build this dwelling before anything happens to it. Not that I think anything is. Ooh, the dwelling tile is open, everybody. I missed that too. I should build this dwelling, sanctuary, and try to pass. That would be really a great round if I can get away with that. No, do not make this town. Not yet. Not yet, game. Can't trick me. Sorry. So catching up on the planning ahead stuff, though. Yeah, the general thing is you just need to keep kind of playing games and have a sense for where your economy is at, what a good economy is, where are your short points, how can you figure out how to make that. That all takes a little experience, but it's not. I don't know. It's a combination of intuitive and thinking. As for not making optimal moves, you don't always really need to make optimal moves, but you do need to have a pretty good game plan. And you need to, the primary thing is having like a coherent game plan is my argument. You need to have an idea of what you're trying to achieve and how you're trying to achieve it. So my game plan this game from the very start was always, I want to hit 3 towns. I want to build out my dwellings pretty early and hit this round 2 dwelling event pretty well so that I can actually afford to build all my trading posts in the mid game. Building all my trading posts in the mid game tends to mean that I'll have a lot of coins and a decent amount of power. And then how can I leverage some of those attributes late in order to achieve what I want? It allows you, I generally have an idea of what my towns are going to look like throughout the game, which helps you really figure out how you're going to build towards them and what hexes are really required and what aren't. I've pretty much, for most of the game, had these sorts of towns in plan, and I've worked towards them, possibly to my own detriment, to be fair. Other people were pointing out some other options that I basically glossed over and skipped. Not sure that's correct, but it's what I did. And again, it's not even necessarily that I'm wrong or they're right or anything. This game has multiple divergent paths that are pretty equivalent a lot of the time, and the important thing is having a game plan and really following it well and executing on that vision. When games go particularly poorly, it's when you wind up not being able to execute what you're trying to do, or when you keep wavering and don't really have any clear direction at all. That's when you're going to have really bad games. So let's finally catch up on the rest of the chat because I'm really distracted. Why Sanctuary now, next round? But I get 2 towns this round, which is pretty important. Can I get 3 towns? I could, but with hard digging, Temple for Fire 2, town round, blah, blah, blah. We might want a shorter round since the dwelling tile's there. 20 point behind, building so many trading posts already. Do you think I can catch up with the towns? The Halflings player's doing pretty well point rounds. We can get all 3 towns here. Okay, I got really distracted and I had Leech. I could get all 3 towns this round, but my goal is to pass on to this dwelling tile. And so that's part of why I'm just Sanctuary and having a fast round and taking Fire 2. I could save the Sanctuary for next round, but then or I could do what you're saying, but I don't really think eking out the town right now is all that important. So I'm just not going to. Claybo says oof. Why was it oof? What's the oof? Anybody know what the oof was from Claybo's about? I'm really a fan of whatever it is. I like Claybo going oof, but I'm taking Fire 2, and then I could take multiple cult towns. Cult towns feel pretty good, actually. There's quite a few priest spots open, and I'm going to have quite a few priests next round. So without thinking about it too much, I'm just going to take these. All 3 towns has to be the priority here. No Sanctuary. No, I completely disagree. Which is why I didn't do it. But maybe the oof is from me taking the TP tile. Hey, Heroic Logic caught the TM before the end. Yeah. Anyhow, as you can all see, my points are a concern. I'm passing for only 7 here, and I'm hoping to get that dwelling tile. The reason, Chris Ho, that I'm not going for the 3rd town here is because it takes more actions. And I really want to pass for the dwelling tile. Hear me out. I will hear you out. I mean, ultimately, I'm executing this plan, right? Like, there's no way to stop me. I also get a coins action this way, so it's all sorts of everything I've ever loved. But I will definitely listen to your argument. But there's also no way that I'm not just doing this right now. Of course, I just want your opinion. Is it time to encourage me to do some nonsense? Possibly. Looping back to Loose Lid. That's really helpful. Thanks for getting distracted and answering my question away from my game. That's exactly what happens in my games. When my plan gets executed, I do pretty well. When it doesn't, bad game. So, yeah, to be honest, much of what separates expert level players in Terra Mystica from mediocre players is simply their ability to adapt to circumstances and to execute unusual game plans or diversions better than others, right? Part of why it seems like NerdCube's games always go so well is because he is masterful at piloting himself through any weird situation or oddity. It's really hard to like throw NerdCube far enough off of his game plan that he just can't execute something strong. He understands the game very well and like can make really unusual stuff work because he has a really good understanding for the whole economy and scoring and everything. As do many other expert level players. Same thing, like Zorus, he can play multiple lines. He really can navigate himself through some very difficult circumstances. And that is a lot of what it takes to become a better player. So part of becoming a better player is purposely pushing yourself into weird lines and just trying to make them work. You will lose quite a few games along the way while doing that, but you will become a much stronger player as you learn how to leverage different things. If you only ever try to maximize your chances in the individual game you're playing, you're going to be locked into playing what you know and trying to execute that. And if you get shoved off of that line, you're going to wind up losing. So the way to get better is to figure out how you can still win when you get shoved off your plan A. And that involves learning how to play lots of weird lines and odd situations and other stuff. The most obvious of which is many players feel like they have to rush Earth 1 because they don't know how to play or win without it. And so that's a pretty easy one to be like, you do sometimes need to just learn how to play without Earth 1. Don't take it. I like play economy, learn how to leverage it, etc. So anyhow, back to the rest of the chat because I obviously got way distracted. Chris Ho just wrapped up a work call. Look out. I'm the better player too. I don't know if that's true, Chris Ho, but whatever. Showed up too late, blah, blah. Same boat as Lucid. The thing I'm struggling with is when to upgrade digging. I can try that. You've noticed that about NerdCube. Yep. So Sanctuary this round is -5. No Town this round, -5. To get the Dwelling, +8. But also get coins and an eye passing tablet today will do more efficient stuff. Fair enough. You were right. You talked yourself out of it. Okay, cool. To be fair, my line is a little riskier because if I got denied from if somebody did pass in front of me, my line probably fails and your line's better. And to be fair, your line maybe includes an Air 1 that I'm not getting. So delaying the Sanctuary and completing all the towns in this round is definitely enough extra points that maybe it's worth it. I mean, the other thing is actually, like, I never would have to build a Sanctuary with your line, right? Because I was going to go for a temple and have to do another dig or something, right? I would temple for Fire 2, dig this, have a 4-hex town here, 4-hex town here, build another trading post. Maybe that's just better. Maybe I just never build a Sanctuary. Maybe that helps my network. I don't really know where I'm at network-wise versus Claybo, but maybe that's important. So I'm not convinced your line wasn't better, but as for Diragned, reasonable rule of thumb is usually don't do it unless you're Swarmlings, Alchemists, or Halfling. Yeah, so upgraded digging is, yeah, kind of a fancy niche thing that's not actually that common. I would say that generally you should advance digging, um, yeah, pretty infrequently. It's gonna often be in games, I think, where you actually like don't get Earth One and you wind up getting pushed towards very economic games. It tends to be games where you get a lot of workers out early off of not digging. So like witches are actually pretty good at advanced digging because they tend to do it when they witches tend to advance digging after they've already built a lot of dwellings on their natural greens because they can get to all their greens really early. So you have great worker economy already, and now you need to dig to fill out your towns. One of the real like mistakes I see people make is that they tend to use a lot of spades early and then they still advance dig. That's not very efficient. Because you've sunk so many resources into hexes already, and now you're sinking even more into trying to get even more hexes. And so that whole line is not particularly good. Um, Advanced digging games work best when you get to build a bunch of dwellings, when you get to take coin actions and coin pass tiles, and then you wind up advancing dig and fleshing out your towns afterwards. Um, but yeah, halflings are doing quite well at scoring directly. Their network is better than I thought, so that's not great. Klebo is getting at least one more town, and it also has a ton of points. So, kind of as expected, I think Klebo is probably still going to win this game, but we'll see. Chaos Magicians could do annoying things with a temple and just trying to steal Fire Cult on me. So, I'm probably supposed to send a priest to the Fire Cult. I want one of those priest towns because I need points badly. But there's no threats on that front. So yeah, I think I'm supposed to just close out Fire Cult. I need. I also kind of need single dig because I need four. I need 4 workers for stronghold, 2 for the trading post, and 3 for dwellings, which is all my workers actually. So I do need single dig. So this also pushes me to get single dig, which I actually need to get out all my dwellings. And I do need to get my dwellings out to contest network. Yeah, all of that's true. Okay. You almost always upgrade digging as chaos as well. You got to go. Good luck. Thanks. Yeah, Chriso. To be fair, yeah, the other reason you advance digging is just for victory points, which can definitely happen with certain factions because it's just a decent way to convert resources into points. But basically, yeah, like if you're trying to advance digging and actually leverage it as like a real economic play, I think it has to be on the back of when you already have a lot of workers early and you're using it late. And it also kind of needs to be games where you can't get hexes cheaply otherwise. If you advance dig but you could have just advanced ship and built a bunch of free hexes, it's tends to be more efficient to just advance ship and build the free hexes. Most of the reason I would like, again, I think the best way to run advanced digging games is something like witches, where you get to expand to most of your natural greens early, then you wind up advancing dig in order to get more hexes because you can't otherwise easily get hexes. That whole sequence can work, but anyhow, as for how this game plays out, again, I'm not sure I get enough points. Klebo's network is looking very good. He has multiple grays left. And he is going to build... Well, he's going to go Sanctuary. So maybe he ends with 3 structures left as well. So I might tie him on Network. And then I have a pass tile, and I have better cults than he does. So all of that bodes well. I do still need this priest tile. Or I still need the priest town. I still need single dig for these dwellings. And this dwelling is going to give me a little bit of leech. Yeah, I think I just take single dig now while I can. and make sure to get this down. Because yeah, the game plan is to build this dwelling, make my stronghold, get a town, build a trading post, and then build another dwelling here. That does mean I need to advance ship one more time, so I do need 4 coins for the dwellings, 3 coins for the trading post, 7 coins, plus 6, 13, plus a ship advance is 17 coins. I have that. So yeah, I have all the resources I need. I just need to keep actually getting my hexes, but we'll see. Chaos Magicians are probably going to wind up taking fire too for their town, but they still can't town, so there's still no pressure on this priest tile yet, so I probably just build another dwelling while I can before somehow they mess with it. Claybo gets more workers that he needs. He is going to be able to go Sanctuary, Trading Post, Dwelling, and maybe he finds an ability to go Temple, Trading Post, and Dwelling, but that feels like a lot of resources. I'm not sure he has that much, but we'll see. If he's able to outright beat me on network, I think he just wins the game. But yeah, I just need to build these dwellings. These dwellings are also victory points on the pass, which I need pretty badly, because I mean, my points are a bit rough, but again, I paid a lot. Claybo should feasibly go Sanctuary, Stronghold, Trading Post, Dwelling. Oh, Stronghold's pretty good for him, isn't it? Oh, I see. He goes Sanctuary, Air 1, Stronghold, Trading Post, Dwelling by taking a Priest Town? Yeah, okay. He could do that. He's a little short on resources. Maybe he can't quite do that, but that would be really good if he's able to go Sanctuary, Air 1, Stronghold, Trading Post, Dwelling. That would turn out very well for him. I mean, I'm pretty sure Claybo's won this game. I obviously kind of said Claybo won the game when Chaos Magicians started where they did and left Claybo all the hexes. But we'll see. Just again, not trying to hammer home like why somebody was bad. I'm just again trying to help people get better. Chaos Magicians starting here has meant that they lost this natural red, this natural red, this natural red, and didn't contest engineers on anything. Chaos Magicians have only got on this natural red all game. Everything else they've had to dig for. And it's really tough to make a living like that. So I think we're seeing the effects of that a bit. But that's okay. One good news is that my opponents don't really have a lot of extra priests. So I should be able to get some really good cult victory points this game. I think these 8-point towns were very good. Because yeah, there's just a lot of cult VP I can pick up. So I'm gonna get like a first, a second, and maybe like a third. That's a pretty good cult game for not really putting a lot of effort in. So might necessitate a power town from him. That's fair. NG basically came in at 25 points without real color neighbors. So although you don't think NG played the greatest game, they're still in good shape. Yep, I broadly agree, Weber. I think Claybo got, handed a better position than pretty much most of us thought he would, because just didn't get contested much. So the whole easy cult points I was just talking about, halflings do decide to go Earth 3 with a temple. They were kind of out of ways to make points, so it's reasonable, although they had a lot of workers, and they could have just done a lot of digs. But Claybo is building another trading post, which suggests to me he's not going Sanctuary, Stronghold. So I think he's not going Stronghold is probably the answer. Regardless, it is to the point where there is pressure on towns now. So I need to get my priest town because losing the priest town would be sad. This is one of the tough things about auction. So it's one of the tough things about auction, and it's one of the tough things about arena in particular, in my opinion. If I was playing at a table of all experts, I'm pretty sure Chaos Magicians wouldn't have started center. And I think they would have started either here or here. I don't really think it matters which one Chaos picks. I think Engineer's game is suitably tougher, and I think Chaos just does better. And so, yeah, I mean, the whole game plays out, in very different ways from that point on. So, hard to say exactly how it winds up, but Chaos are going to kind of contest halflings on this cult. I would expect halflings to maybe still just send their priest to Earth, though. Not sure they have much else. They could also just advance ship for points. But regardless, they take another priest. With them taking another priest, there is some air track nonsense that could happen. I might need to send both of my priests to the air track. So I do think my next move is priest to air now. Klebo gets another dwelling down while he can. And it does look like it's going to be Sanctuary. It looks like he is trying to get Sanctuary Trading Post Temple Trading Post Dwelling still. Maybe. Still quite a few resources, but maybe he can do it. But regardless, I do think there's some fighting to be had on the air track. That's worthwhile for me to get involved in. Priest to Fire is good for halflings. Converts a resource point to 2 points via Act 2. No Stronghold for Engineers. Yeah, no Stronghold for Engineers is interesting. This is a really minor thing, but Chaos Magicians just gave me a free power, whereas they could have built here and I would have declined. So very small little things like this are worth, thinking about, especially at higher levels, but I didn't even, I don't necessarily think about those things either. Chaos does get the other priest town, so Klebo is left with not very exciting town choices, so I do like that. I still look to probably be a little too far behind in direct victory points. I think Klebo just wins, but I'm not that far out. But I do think Klebo can. Sanctuary is 5 points. Arrow 1 is going to be at least 3, so that's 8 points. The town is at least 6, so... And then probably another trading post, maybe another dwelling. He gets to maybe about 110. I'm going to be at 103, so I might only be like 7 behind him. Although if he gets the other dwelling out and beats me on network, then I'm for sure doomed. If we're tied on network, I might be enough plus on cults to make up 7 victory points. So maybe I am still winning. I'm not sure. My inclination is that Engineers have still won this game, but... Whoa, wait a sec. What? What is this? This can't be right. He's going to undo that, right? He can't be building the sanctuary there. It doesn't make him a town. He's definitely going to undo this move. He is taking water too, so he is going to steal water cult on me. That's annoying, and he does cancel the move. I mean, that sanctuary was clearly in the wrong spot. Yeah, there it is. The bigger question to me though is water 2 actually right for him over air 1, or maybe he just literally needs the power, but yeah, so Klebo not taking air 1 is a bummer. Because he is just going to beat me on water now. So that is a pretty decent shift between us two. So anyhow, I need to build a trading post. Giving my buddy Chaos some power feels totally fine and inconsequential. I don't really think I need to do anything immediately with my priest. I do eventually need to advance ship one more time. And I think I have the resources to just advance ship twice. So to be fair, maybe I should just advance ship twice. Because it is pretty good points, right? A 4-point move is pretty good. Whereas I'm not sure the priest in coins are needed as anything else. It really depends on what other people do with the air track or water track. I would like to continue to try to get a few more cult points if I could. but we'll see. I'm not. This water 2 from Clabo must be to build more stuff, right? He must be going for temple. He's gonna go temple air 1, trading post dwelling. That would require 7 coins. So 3 power is coins, and then 3 workers. Okay, yeah, never mind. That's what he's doing. He has just enough stuff to go to 15 network, and that will win. I can't compete with 15 network. I'm only gonna get to 14. So the fact that he's gonna outright win network means he should pretty safely outright win the game. If he's only worried about you, water 2 is better than air 1. Yeah, that part's true too. Well, he's going to rebuild the trading post regardless. Air 1 is going to be 4 points for him. Like, he's definitely getting that trading post down. But I do agree with you that water 2 actually makes sense. But the more I'm looking at it, he's pretty clearly taking water 2 and air 1. And he is going to get down 15. He's going to get to 15 network. And yeah, I don't think there's any way I can catch up to that then. Because he's going to be ahead of me directly. Like, he is still going to be at, again, like 110 points after passing. And then he has +6 on network. So I got to make up like 13 points on cults. And I'm not going to be that far behind, but I'm only like +8 on cults on him, roughly. So I'm probably going to lose to him by about 5 points, which I said I overbid Mermaids a little, which was slightly true. And then, again, I think the bigger thing is I also just didn't get some good help from Team Chaos, but that's okay. I need to advance ship. I forgot to be doing funny things here where I could be leveraging free power. So I'm going to finally actually do that. But like, I could have just had a free power off Clabo. So that was a slight mistake, but it's okay. Definitely need to advance ship, connect up, get up to that 13 network. I should be at 103, and then if I advance ship, I am at 107. I don't know. It's really close here, actually. Clabo misplayed it, in your opinion, but he got a free game. That's largely how I feel about this one, too. I still think Clabo choosing not to build the temple for Earth 2 in round 1 and not building the free dwelling and doing what he did was... I think there was a lot of kind of questionable decisions. I think he could have had an even better game. Given when he did finally take water 1, I just don't think there's any way where he couldn't have built the temple for Earth 2 in round 1 and still been able to get water 1 in time for when he actually took it. And I don't think much of the rest of his game honestly changes. So yeah, I very much agree. Hey, we get our free power, so our funny burning trick paid off there. Not that we really need it, but... Well, actually, it is 1 more point of resources for us, so... Halflings passes. It does look like Halflings probably beats Chaos. I mean, Chaos has a ton of cults, but Halflings still has some network VP, so we'll see. It was a fun Halflings game. I was obviously dubious throughout about how much Halflings should be getting bid for or get paid, but it has worked out for him. Do I regret missing Earth 1 at all? No, not at all. Skipping Earth 1 in order to take Double Dig in round 1 is just so worth it. There was so much economic boost from it this game in terms of making sure I could hit 3 towns and do some other stuff. It's part of what's helped me actually push to 14 network pretty easily here too, without having to sweat it much. Clabo has a cult step left that is definitely going on water. So I could. This priest move is basically protecting 2 points between Claybo and I. But I could spend the priest and 4 coins to get 4 points. Yeah, advancing ship is correct. And then Claybo's just going to beat me on water. Claybo is going to end at 110. Yeah, so I am only 2 points behind, but then I'm 6 behind on network. So I need to beat Claybo by 8 on the cult track, which I barely don't. Wow, I'm gonna lose this game by 2 points. That's a bummer. That water shift at the end is just enough, it looks like. Yeah, ugh, real bummer. I don't know why I'm calculating it and not just letting the game do it, but looks like I lose this by 2 points. Just tuning in at the end here. Man, what a terrible day to have my worst game ever. Quite intimidated to play against such good players. I mean, whatever. We've all been there. I mean, ultimately, I think you just chose the wrong starting spot. I think most of your decisions throughout the rest of the game were pretty good. But, yeah, your starting spot kind of just led to problems. So 1 point, you got a resource. Yeah, I already added in my resource point, so I'll be 2 points behind. That was really close, just 2 points. Yep. I already added in my resource point, so I will be 2 points behind. Oh, I did. Red Swarmlings. That's true. 7 structure chaos. Look at that. It's good times. And winning like all the cults. But yeah, bit of a bummer, obviously. I would have liked to beat Claybo, but I do think Chaos Magician's starting spot probably gave Engineers a bit too much. I also, as I said, I probably overbid Mermaids just a little. I did need a lot of things to go right this game, and they largely did. I mean, my pass tile points are going to be really good, I think. We'll get there in a sec, but my power action breakdown is pretty much what I would want it to be. Just had to take a couple spade actions throughout the game in order to get my hexes. I got coins actions. I got a bridge, you know. Engineers actually look great. They used less spades than I did in order to get to 15 network. You know, that's pretty crazy, actually. Like, Claybo got 2 towns and a network win off only 2 spade actions. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, I hit the track really well. I just only had water 1. Claybo wound up with all the point favors. But yeah, I hit the pass so well. But I mean, that's what I mean. This is partly luck. Like that it kind of turned out that way. So I mean, there's a good argument I paid too much. I mean, and again, Claybo definitely got lucky that Chaos didn't get in his way more. So So you gained arena points and lost a bit of elo. Yeah, you find those competing calcs odd. Yeah, they're both separate things. It's all good. Do. You don't think there's a compelling reason to have two systems? I do. I think there's a very compelling reason to have multiple systems, and I think it's actually really good that they added Arena. So I have no complaints on that front. The ELO system is pretty much any type of TMU play, so even two-player games count into that such a different match trick. Exactly. What's the reason? That's largely the reason. The arena system at least forces everybody to have a rating that's under the exact same conditions. We're playing the same game at the same player count on the same maps, which is a really useful standard to have. Otherwise, the problem is in the normal regular ELO, you have so many problems. Now, Terra Mystica is luckily not that plagued by other problems. Whoops, I didn't want to be on this page. I want to be on this page, slightly different. Terra Mystica luckily isn't like that filled with other problems, but like this Ultima player plays nobody that any of us have heard of. They don't play in the arena meta. They play 3-player Terra Mystica games largely, a couple 2-player games, or 2-player. Ultima is a 2-player player, okay. But like they're just in a completely different world. Same thing with Nayland, right? Like I don't know who these guys are, but these guys just don't play at all. Like they are not actually top 10 Terra Mystica players, in my opinion. They are within whatever weird world they play in, which is largely 2-player games where some of them are very specific about who they're willing to play against. And so, like, the normal ELO system has some big flaws in terms of how you can exploit it. And I think Arena is really good about that. But yeah, exactly, Weber. I think the top leaderboard is always like pretty dumb because you just see people that they just don't play within the meta that all the other top players do. And to be fair, I guess like they really enjoy 2-player Terra Mystica, so they should be allowed to. And if they could have a 2-player ranking board, awesome, go for it. But they need to be separated because it's a very different game, like a very different game. And then on top of all that, Elo still has the problem of like it's a while back, but like the White Fridge account very like specifically chose who he was going to play against. And a couple of these top players on the leaderboard also are like that. I haven't tried it recently, but some of these top players, occasionally when I see them at a table, I would try to join them and they'll just boot me. They don't want to play with other high-rated players. They don't want to risk their elo. They just want to beat up on mediocre players that they know they can beat, which is so lame. Like it's caring way too much about a rating number that means nothing if you're going to take those steps to get it. Like I care about rating a little bit, but I care only insofar as that I think my rating is actually somewhat a reflection of how good I am compared to all the other best players. And if I'm taking steps to manipulate it, then it's meaningless. But whatever. Anyhow, NerdCube just stomps everyone. So, I mean, NerdCube is on a crazy run. I was on a crazy run a while back. I also peaked at 740 elo at one point, and that was a pretty glorious little period. But I was playing really well, and then on top of that, I just kind of had a lucky run, right? I wound up at some tables with other experts, and I was just winning games. I was getting the right breaks. Even at high level here, there are such things like that, right? Like, I would largely argue that this last game, I think I probably played a better Mermaids game than Claybo played an Engineers game, and I just think the starting spots broke better for Claybo. And that might not be totally true, because, again, a lot of other little things broke well for me in terms of past tiles, so a little hard to say, but there's definitely fluctuations even within these games. And anyhow, yeah, NerdCube is currently on a great run. But this is kind of just what happens. He was about this high in the past and then also ran the ratings roller coaster. So yeah, here he is up in the mid 700s, and then here he is at the almost in the upper 500s, which is basically what I just went through. And this is just kind of the roller coaster that happens over time, which isn't to take away. NerdCube's an incredible player, but NerdCube doesn't just always beat everyone. It's just sometimes you're at peaks and you go through spurts. But what is the badge with the engineer logo on it? The badge with the engineer logo on it. All right, so I'm very distracted. Are you talking about on my page? Or are we talk? Yeah, okay. I have badges. The engineer logo badge. Am I? Oh, this one. So this is the weekly warrior speed tournament. That was the dumb little bullet tournament that Sprockets ran, which was great fun. This was before the days that I was uploading things to YouTube, but I one of my big regrets about not uploading is that tournament. Gosh, that was a fun like bullet tournament, and my like thoughts were running a mile a minute, and I did broadcast it, but unfortunately that's been lost to the sands of time. But that would be a sweet one to get back because I just played a bunch of Swarmlings games and got a bunch of wins and won that stupid bullet tournament. But then I got a silly badge for it, so it's good times. And it was Swarmlings all the way. If you're playing bullet, just play Swarmlings. It's very like it was easy to execute. But what's bullet time control? So when we say bullet, we mean one of two things. So it was a while back. I think it was kind of last summer. Some of my friends and I came up with this idea to play bullet TM. We go into training mode, so nobody cares about their ranking, and your goal is to play as fast as possible. That's the only goal. If you win, congrats. But we would largely the goal was to get your overall timer under 7 minutes or about 8 minutes. For this tournament explicitly, the timer control was 7.5 minutes flat. If you went over 7.5 minutes, you were over your timer. You could be booted. There was a little bit of leeway. People were fairly friendly, but basically at 7.5 minutes, you don't actually have thinking time. You really do have to submit moves basically as fast as you can. You really can't do much else. Now that you can turn animations off, I think you can get it a little faster. But yeah, I do think after that tournament, we've decided that for tournament blitz modes, the timer should be like 11 minutes, which I think is what it's now set to, or maybe like 10 minutes. It's still really fast. It's hard to play a game that fast, but you at least have just a tiny little leeway to like barely glance at some stuff if you need to. So it's good times. I haven't done one of those recently. I think Sprockets created another one recently, and I should look into that actually. Because it would be good fun to do one of those again. That is the sort of thing I need to do. Let's see. He created a tournament. It is happening. Oh gosh, that's too far in the future. Oh, and it's already filled up. Ugh, lame. So unfortunately, these tournaments, so it's 11 minutes per player now, but it's a thing BJ is testing out, is to have multiplayer brackets like this. Normally tournaments are only 2 players, but unfortunately the system is still in like a testing stage, so you have to be a tester to be able to create the tournaments, which Sprockets is, but unfortunately, yeah, I can't do it. So I would love to experience that again, but oh well. Anyhow, ultimately, that was a fun time. Congrats to Claybo. Let's see where he's climbed up to on the back of a nice win. Claybo is up there. Deep Finesse, unfortunately, did take a pretty big tumble from that boot. And we're just chilling out, but again, we're not winning Arena. We're just having fun, and having fun is what we did. So, happy about that. As for upcoming stuff then, curious about Agricola. You really enjoy Terra Mystic on a competitive level, but Agricola doesn't really get me to that point. You've played Agricola with friends, but competitively it seems like a lot with the cards. And hey, somebody just followed too. I'm not good about this. Oh, multiple follows recently. Well, welcome all new followers and stuff. I've kind of wrapped up my game and now I'm just doing my usual blabbing about other stuff. But thanks for follows. As for the question, Agricola is quite a bit with the cards. It's along with Terra Mystica are my 2 like loves. They are the best games in my opinion. And I love them, but not every game's for everybody. So if you don't really love Agricola, that's fine. Now, if you're trying to love Agricola a bit more, learning how to leverage the cards and play them well definitely is a part of this skill. And there is a lot to consider. I think the skill ceiling in Agricola is higher than Terra Mystica, and Terra Mystica has a really high ceiling. Like you obviously can do, like, you can get really good at Terra Mystica, but Agricola, like, has so many skills in terms of the strategy and tactics, and every game you have to read the cards that are in the game so that you get a sense for the texture of the game you're going to be in. Is it food rich? Is it wood rich? Is it, what's, like, how is all that going to impact things? And you have the kind of constant tactical battles of what people are trying to do and where they're at and how to leverage, get the most out of the round and still work towards your overall strategic plan. Both games have some really similar thought lines and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Agricola is a different beast, but it's excellent. I occasionally stream Agricola, but it's much harder to follow, and it's on a jankier website. And so I don't really blame anybody for not trying to follow it. I should occasionally try with Lumen to, like, maybe get just a classic EIK game going, so with just the base decks, because it would be easier for people to follow if they knew the cards. But one of the handy things is somebody did make a cool extension. So if you ever watch me stream Agricola, you can at least pop in and click on the cards and they'll pop up so that you can see them, which is pretty sweet. But yeah. And oh, wow. Hey, McStubbs, thanks so much for subscribing with Prime there. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, dang. I beat you up and you still subscribe. Here's the real champion, everybody. If I was to stream a TM player's guide to Agricola, you'd be interested. Huh, that would be intriguing. To try to be like, here are the skills you've learned from Terra Mystica that are applicable to Agricola. Here are some of the similar thought lines that you go through. Yeah, that's a really interesting concept. I haven't tried to make, like, strategy vids. But I could look into some of those ideas, because there definitely are people looking for some more strategic level common, like, content rather than just playthrough videos, obviously. So yeah. Anyhow, time for Can't Stop indeed. Had to sub after you whooped me. Can't Stop is great. I've been playing quite a bit of Can't Stop. I've been living the roller coaster. I was as high as, like, the upper 20s, and then I was as down into the lower thousands. I've had a decent run again where I've not only been playing well, but at least having some luck again. So we'll see where I get. I honestly do think I'm a pretty good Can't Stop player, but there is a lot of luck obviously inherent in the game, so. Do I ever do anything with Caverna? So I don't think there's any way to play Caverna online, unless you're going to go Tabletop Simulator. And I don't really like Tabletop Simulator, and I don't feel comfortable streaming games on Tabletop Simulator. One of the things I actually really like and appreciate about Board Game Arena is that all of the games are licensed adaptations. And even beyond that, I actually love the premium system where designers and publishers can actually get paid for their work. It's really important, I think, that the people within this industry actually get their fair share. And Tabletop Simulator is rife with unauthorized mods and people playing games without permission, essentially. And digital rights and all that are messy, and I don't super need to get into it, but broadly, yeah, I prefer to stick to stuff that I know is licensed adaptations. Anyhow, as for this game, I am getting to hit the 8s, 10s, 6s life pretty well thus far. Get back on 6s here. 6, 8, 10 is great numbers. I'm probably just going to try to close 8s. I might even get greedy here and take 6s and still try to close 8s, because it's fun and it pays off. How about a Feast for Odin? So I also like a Feast for Odin a lot, or used to. I mostly play it solo, but it's an interesting game, particularly solo. I used to run solo challenges for it on Board Game Geek, actually, like 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago now. But same thing, I don't think there's any way to play a Feast for Odin online. Have I ever heard of or played Food Chain Magnate? Absolutely. So the answer to most have I heard of it or played it is yes. I am pretty involved in gaming scene and Board Game Geek type life. So anything fairly popular, I do know about. Um, I have played Food Chain Magnate, and I don't really like it. It's interesting, but it's not really my type of game. I think it would really shine if everybody actually like really studied and knew how to play well, but it just takes so long to get to that point. I don't really find the fun in it. You just ordered Agricola, and I'm looking for a Feast for Odin. Sweet. Agricola is an excellent game, and I highly approve of that. Again, not every game's for every person though. So, anyhow, other solo games I enjoy. I don't play a lot of stuff solo anymore. I do a little bit of dabbling with some of Fantasy Flight's LCGs, but I mostly just game online nowadays. So if I'm feeling like gaming, I kind of just pop on. This Can't Stop game was pretty silly. I feel bad for my opponent, who is quite good. I went first and never busted, so it's pretty impossible to do anything against that, which definitely sucks for him. Um, Anyhow, those solo games. I've played a little bit of Hostage Negotiator Friday, and then like I've played a good amount of Lord of the Rings, the card game, the living card game Fantasy Flight puts out, and then I've done a little bit of mucking about with the Arkham Horror and Marvel Champions games that have spun off of that Lord of the Rings model. Um, but I don't do a lot of that stuff anymore. Have I played Spirit Island? I have, and I don't like Spirit Island at all. I think Spirit Island's largely a bad game. But can't wait for all these vaccines to get out and regular gaming meetups happen again. Completely agreed. I am very much looking forward to gaming in person again. Getting on 478 here is pretty good. Making a lot of fours. Yeah, could have stopped, but didn't. Anyhow, as for people asking all these questions, my board game geek is Ranior, just like my username pretty much everywhere, and I keep a pretty detailed list of all the games I play. So if you ever go out, you can go to my user profile and my collections. You'll see all the games I play. You can sort by the games I've played the most. You can sort by the games I've rated the highest. I've commented all of them with my thoughts. So if you really, for any reason, care that deeply about what I think about things, you're welcome to go explore all of that nonsense. 278 is pretty good. 478 is quite good. I'm actually going to take the 2 and just roll a bit until I get some good progress, or I get another 2, or I guess bust. Your local board game cafe closed permanently from COVID. That is really unfortunate to hear. That's definitely been one of the biggest bummers of this whole period, obviously. I still have some local gaming groups to return to and a local gaming store to return to when everything resumes. But this looks like a game that I'm just going to lose if I keep busting this much. But luckily my opponent's not making a lot of progress. But A Feast for Odin sold out everywhere here. Heard there'd be a reprint. That probably eventually will happen. I don't obviously follow that much. I don't know the answer. Spirit Island is one of your favorite games. What are my critiques on it? So the reason I don't find Spirit Island particularly interesting is it's kind of the exact opposite of what I think is actually like clever and good in like great designs. I maybe should have stopped there. I was going to roll once more and then I busted, so that's really unfortunate. What part of what makes Terra Mystica so great is that everything is on a shared central board. The rules are just like what there is, and there's nothing hidden, and it's pretty easy to parse everything once you start playing. Spirit Island is just an absolute mess of obfuscation of like what you can actually do on any turn. You just have a million cards with a ton of powers, and you're just reading all this text trying to figure it out. If you're actually truly trying to be cooperative with others, you're all like sitting there and sharing and discussing all this like craziness you can do and trying to like cobble together a plan off of all this I don't know. Basically, to try to speed along my critique, basically, I find most of the time in Spirit Island is parsing my possible options, and I find the actual decision making relatively easy. It's like I need to achieve these things. Here are all the options. Let's kind of calculate out what they are, what the net result is, and then it's like, oh, this net result is just the best. I do that one. Great games like Terra Mystica and Agricola, the difficulty isn't in trying to parse out what you can do, it's trying to parse out what is the best thing you can do. And I find Spirit Island to just, be the reverse. I feel like I'm wasting all my time trying to figure out what I can do, and then figuring out what's best is actually relatively easy. And so that's just it's so inverted from everything I want in a game. Anyhow, looping back to nonsense. You can't wait for your first Twilight Imperium game after lockdown ends. Yeah, I haven't got in a lot of big games. I really want to play a lot more Eclipse. But I'm not paying much attention to this game, and that's really making me sloppy probably. I was having a bad start, but I actually have some chances here. There's no pressure on 8s, so I actually should try to close 7s this turn. To the point where I'm actually skipping these 8s. I really need to close 7s, I think. If I wipe my opponent off 7, well, if I wipe my opponent off 7s, I have a chance, but... the main thing you learned about Can't Stop from watching this stream is the game is not named Stopped after making a medium amount of progress. It's been reacquired by the original firm. Hope there's some news soon. All right, don't know what that's a response to, but that's fine. Anyhow, if my opponent closes 7s, he does not. Okay, I pretty aggressively need to close 7s here. Getting on 4, 7, 8's good. Rolling all these 8s is not good. I need 7s. Lots of 7s. I don't want 8s. Come on, 7s. Okay, so rolling here is pretty insane, and yet the chance to roll a 7 on any individual roll is about 66%. I need to roll 3 in a row. So 2/3 risen to the 3rd power is about a 1/3 chance. So I have a 1/3 chance of closing 7s and making this a real game again. Or I leave the 7s open, hope my opponent busts. I'm going to try to close the 7s. I think the right move is to be aggressive here, but it's actually kind of close. And I just bust anyhow. This is insane. I mean, my opponent has such a huge edge. Like, I'm pretty sure the math actually supports my decision. Again, it's close. Maybe it was slightly wrong, but the chance that my opponent rolls 3 7s is pretty freaking high too. Well, but he did bust, so that's unfortunate. It turns out I probably should have stopped, but you can't know that. 7 11 and then try to get on 8s. The other option is to take the 9s and then hope to get on like 4s or 5s. None of these are great. I'll take this and just keep getting 7s. 4 7 11 is ugh, but come on, 7s. Ooh, double 7. Excellent. One more 7. One more 7. Dang it. Ugh, the game is not being my friend. Ugh, so close. Oh, well. My opponent's not getting on 7s here, but he's going to make progress on other columns. Oh, there's the 7s. But this game has been tough. I've busted a lot this game. I've definitely been a little aggressive here at the end. Wow, my opponent stops 1 short on 7s. That's too timid. I mean, he's given me a lot of chances here to catch him. Now, am I going to keep busting? Possibly, but I definitely actually have some chances to roll enough 7s in a row to make it a game. But 1 away again. He is getting... Honestly, my opponent's getting pretty lucky. The chance that I constantly am busting and not closing out these 7s is pretty low. He's being too timid, and he's getting a bit lucky that I keep busting. He's not actually a particularly good player. But I just didn't get the luck. I rolled a lot of dice, though. I mean, busting that much is not that shocking. But still, I had 10 turns, so somewhere around 20 to like 25 of those rolls I couldn't possibly bust anyhow. So then I rolled about 30, 35 times and I busted 8 times. So I busted roughly every fourth to fifth roll. So that's a bust percentage of nearly 25% still. I mean, that's pretty freaking high. That's pretty unlucky. That round after closing eights was probably time to rest. I mean, it turns out that the round after closing eights was probably time to rest, because it turns out my opponent was so timid that he might have actually not pushed to close sevens. He might have just waited, which I'm not sure that's how he would have reacted, but the aggressiveness certainly could have paid off, though. Like, I was 1-7 away from closing him a couple times, and if I hit that, it's a huge swing. So, meh. Yeah, with the fact my opponent could have just won sevens with only 3 of them, even the turn where I closed eights, it's really close. I think either way it was fine. I went for the let's try to close the eights and the sevens, which is pretty aggressive. But I mean, as I said, I listed the odds. Like, I had roughly a 1/3 to 40% chance of doing it. I think it's worth going for those odds, but I don't know. Regardless, that was a tough one anyhow because of all the early busts. So I'm basically going to play one more until I win, especially because as much as it's been fun having these can't stop streams after the Terra Mystica, the stats suggest that a bunch of you tune out as well. So not that I fully do this just for views, but can't stop in little amounts feels like the right amount. Doing a little bit of a can't stop stream here and there and then moving on is probably the best option. I also actually, now that I say that, I also need to talk to Bizzle tonight anyhow about Fire 2 stuff. So yeah. Oof, my opponent closes 3s on the first turn. That's looks like we might get another game after this, everybody. As for coming up, I'm actually going to stream a lot tomorrow. I'm probably going to stream some Agricola and some Terra Mystica, but I don't really have work and I don't really have anything else that I want to do, so I'm probably going to have a pretty crazy day of streaming. And then should be an all-player commentary at some point this weekend, and then, yeah, I don't know. My opponent is pretty aggressive. Okay, he is stopping, but I'm like, he's having a big turn. He hasn't busted, and he's just had great turns. I'm pretty dead here. Like, this, I'm gonna have to push my luck a decent bit here. Oof. Normally I would stop here, but I'm already, like, kind of behind, so I think I need to push my luck a little bit. Well, if I push my luck too much, I don't get any chances to win at all. Nah, I need a little more progress, I think. Meh. Your opponent closed 7-8 on 7-8-9 on one turn from no progress. Yep, it's definitely unfortunate. I made you go on a marathon can't stop streak. Yep, that happens. My opponent is just not busting and is just getting on good numbers. I'm back on 267, which isn't awful. It's not great. As we saw last time, I probably rode it a little too far and or got a little unlucky, but I need some luck, so I'm pushing. And I bust. My opponent does finally get on some bad numbers. It apparently does not matter that my opponent is on bad numbers. He's just going to win. Well, I believe that was a 3-turn game where I had 2 turns. Oh, no, 4 turns. He had 4 turns, and he just never busted. I rolled a whopping 19 times and busted 3 of them. Yeah, well, that's one of those games where it's just like can't stop is freaking really annoying because I just literally have no chance. Like, you can't... It's not possible to win a game when you only have 3 turns. Like, Ugh, oh well, whatever. It can't stop. But yeah, I mean, this is where the ratings in Can't Stop move way too fast. But oh well. Thanks for the stream. Gonna take your leave now. Hope to catch another one. Yeah, I will. I'll be playing a decent bit tomorrow, another time, and it was fun. And yeah, I mean, this stream is gonna end very soon. As soon as I win another Can't Stop game, which hopefully is here. 278 is a good start. 278 is significantly better than 267, by the way. And there's another two. That's a good first turn. That's a good one. All right. If anybody else has any questions on other nonsense, speak up. Otherwise, I'm hoping that this will be the end of the stream right after this one. Not good numbers here. I take the 812. Another 812. All right. Well, I'm not going to complain about just getting a bunch of free 8s. And then here, I probably just take double 10 and stop. That was pretty good. I have good progress on 2s and 12s and 8s after just a couple rolls. This feels pretty winning, but who am I rooting for the most to win? Do I happen to know who is casting? I do happen to know who's casting. It's because it's me and NerdCube. So NerdCube and I will be casting on Saturday. It'll be a fun time. Who am I rooting for? I'm not really not really rooting for anybody. And as a caster, I feel a little weird, I guess, if I... Is there a real conflict of interest? I guess there's not. Whatever. I can have a favorite. I'm just gonna close 8s and be happy. Anyhow, probably I guess Deep Finesse. To be honest, I actually don't really care who wins. All of them are pretty like new school, like new on the scene type players. I'm not like that close to friends with any of them necessarily. Not that I'm like unfriendly with any of them, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have a real care. Like, there's not a lot of names that I'm familiar with from other tournaments I've played or any of that stuff. So it'll just be a fun game to watch. I think Deep Finesse broadly is the best player left, so that's mostly, I guess, why I want him to win. I like seeing really strong players play strong games and win and get their recognition. So excited about the cast? Yeah, I'm excited about the cast too. I've played a decent number of games with NerdCube on voice chat, and he's just like a great guy with some great insight, and I think casting with him is going to be a real joy and all sorts of stuff like that. I did lose 2s here, which is unfortunate. I need to get some progress on 6s and 7s probably. Oof. Yeah, losing the 2s is a bit of a bummer here. But yeah, who are you rooting for and why is it Deep Finesse? I mean, so I kind of blabbed on, but yes, indeed, I am rooting for Deep Finesse. I think just because I think he is the best player left, and I want good, strong players to win. So, what time on Saturday? The Fire 2 Open is 12 o'clock Central Time, and it's on Twitch TV. It's the Terra Mystica, like, there's a big tournament that gets run, and yeah, it'll be there. Honestly, stopping 1 away on 10s feels pretty good. It eventually forces my opponent to just, like, close a lot of columns. Normally, I don't like stopping 1 away on a column, because it forces you to use a whole other turn, but when that whole other turn is going to be winning the game, feels pretty fine, especially since my opponent's not really threatening to win the game on a single turn. Close your ears, Bizzle. Yeah. But yeah, anyhow, Fofo, if you're trying to learn more about Terra Mystica still, you can hear me and another expert blab on about other experts playing. I really need the 10 here. This is why it's a little risky to stop 1 away, because if I don't get on 10s here, I'm going to have problems. And indeed, I'm not getting on 10s here, which is going to cause problems. 5-6-9 is pretty good. 4-6-9 is pretty good. But I basically just need to ride this to a win here. because my opponent could close 5s in a single turn. So I'm essentially just pushing this until I win. I might have been too timid. I stopped. Do I want to roll 4 more 5s, or do I want to roll more 5s or more 6s? Probably more 6s, I guess. 6 is the most common thing. Come on, game. Let's see if I can be stupidly lucky. Stupid luck. There it is. All right. That was a stupidly lucky turn, but I was also kind of unlucky to not roll a 10 after like 4 tries. So, whew. All right. I nearly lost that one. This is what I get for not super paying attention while streaming, I guess. Although, yeah, I don't know. I got pretty lucky. I was first seat. My opponent came back very nicely. Stealing 2s on me was big. That was a big swing for them. But all right. Well, anyhow, what a run to close. Yeah, indeed. That was a really lucky turn on 5-6-9, which is not that good. I think 5-6-9, if my memory is right, is like 87%. So that's not particularly good. 5-6-9 comes in at, yes, 87%. So yeah, that was very lucky. Had over a 13% chance to bust on any of those rolls, and I rolled 12 times in a row probably on that. So yeah, definitely lucky. But anyhow, thanks all for chatting and hanging out today. It's been a good time. I will see some of you tomorrow while I cast some random stuff, and then I will definitely see a lot of you at the Fire 2 finals this weekend, which will be good times. And then finally, there should be an all-player commentary at some point this weekend. I just don't know when. And hey, there's been a couple more follows again. I don't pay attention to these things, and I should, but thanks, Great Harlequin and Murillo. Awesome. Like, there's been a lot of followers today. I don't know how I'm getting found, but I welcome all. It's great to have a growing community and everything, so it's good. And yeah, thanks much, Ghostly. It's awesome to have you around chatting all the time. Hopefully we can get a game in again soon or something. But anyhow, I'm just extremely famous. I've been clicking those bot links where they ask me if I want to be extremely famous. So yeah, they've been helping me out, but not really. But anyhow, yeah, all that's good. It's been fun times. I should head off and do some other stuff. I will see you all around. Thanks much. Bye.